We got this reporting overnight from the Wall Street Journal that they were thinking among some of the height at Tesla, at some of the height of the carnage and some of the boycotts, that they were looking at potentially getting another CEO to replace Elon Musk. What do you make of that?
Look, we talked about it on your show, right? A lot. I mean, the point is, regardless the board denies it and the scenarios, this was the moment of truth. The board had to do something, whether it's a warning shot or whatever it may be. And Musk had to choose CEO of Tesla, dude. And we thought that conference call is probably the best conference call I've seen Musk do maybe ever, or at least in the last 4 or 5 years. So important because the brand damage and what was ultimately happening, clock struck midnight. So regardless of the semantics and what actually happened, what didn't happen, the end result is a huge positive. Musk back in the driver's seat, CEO of Tesla. And I continue to think like his days at the White House are essentially done.
Well, Dan, they're not, in the sense that he was at the cabinet meeting yesterday wearing not just one, but 2 Make America Great hats stacked on top of each other. Even though he is more focused maybe on Tesla now than he was in the beginning of this administration, when he was very focused on Doge, can that brand destruction still carry through?
Yeah, look, I mean, you've talked about that a lot. And I'd be surprised if these are other cabinet meetings. I mean, just given, I think, the pressure for him to sort of detach himself. But we've talked about brand damage. You got to contain it. You have a massive era of growth ahead. Autonomous, robotics, turning things around in China, especially with BYD in terms of rising, in terms of from a share perspective. Leaders lead. That's what Musk has to do now. And I just think like that was the move that he started to take on last week's call. And I think that's what we expect to see from Musk going forward. It's also why the stock's up. Because ultimately, now you have the biggest asset of Tesla back, regardless of the drama that went through between the board and Musk or whatever did or didn't happen.
Dan, let's finish on the biggest challenge to them right now, which I think could possibly be a tie-up between Waymo and Toyota. We're talking about the best-selling car brand on the planet. 2 of the best-selling models out of the top 3 in the world in the last 12 months, getting together with Waymo that's delivering 200,000, 250,000 paid trips every single week. Why isn't that a threat to Tesla?
Yeah, I personally think that's not as big of a threat as maybe some have talked about. Look, Waymo, $240,000 cars in 4 cities. They obviously will expand. They had the lead in terms of coming out of the gate. I think when it comes to cyber cabs and Tesla, I think autonomous, the scale and scope, they're really going to own that market. So you're going to see more and more partnerships like this, but it's not like I view this partnership as something that changes my thesis on Tesla in terms of autonomous. But it also speaks more and more. Musk needs to be leading Tesla, not sitting there, as Anne-Marie said, wearing 2 or 3 hats in a cabinet meeting.